South Africa enters a new political era this week as the two houses of parliament are sitting to elect a new cohort of leaders. Yesterday saw numerous caucus sessions and the conclusion of National Government of Unity agreement between the African National Congress and the Democratic Alliance. The ANC's Thoko Didiza was elected Speaker of Parliament and the DA's Dr. Annelie Lotriet elected as her deputy. Well into the night, ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa was re-elected president of the 7th administration. Now, let's look at the caliber of these newly elected leaders now with Stellenbosch School of Public Leadership's Professor Zwelinzima Ndevu, who joins us virtually this morning. Good morning, Professor. Thank you so much for your time.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. Good morning to your listeners as well.
Professor, firstly, what do we need to know about the newly elected Speaker of Parliament, Madam Speaker Thoko Didiza, in terms of her political background, and what impact do you foresee her having on the legislative agenda as Speaker of the National Assembly in the new GNU?
The new Speaker, Ms. Thoko Didiza, she is a very seasoned politician. We would know that she has been in the executive for a very long time. She is one of the most experienced executive members that we had in the previous administration. She has also been a backbencher at some stage. So she brings a wealth of experience, but I think she also brings firmness. She brings efficiency. If you look at the departments that she has worked in, a department that she has led, she has always brought efficiency in those departments. So I think that she brings, you would know that the legislature has been one arm of government that would sometimes not do its work effectively, would sometimes not sit as it should sit and engage properly on issues. There would be chaos in that institution. So one is hoping with her experience, with her expertise, she would be able to hold the fort and ensure that this institution is effective. And I think her deputy as well, which is a woman as well, we must also compliment that for the first time in the history, I think, of that house, we have the two presiding officers being females, but she also brings a wealth of experience as well. So I think they will be complementary and they will ensure that that institution functions well.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about her deputy, Dr. Lotriet of the Democratic Alliance. She's been elected as the Deputy Speaker of Parliament. Will this unexpected union between the ANC and the DA lead to a new era of cooperation and progress in Parliament, do you think?
Many of us did not see this coming, but we knew that we needed a stable government, and a government of national unity would include everyone. One would have ordinarily expected that a different outcome would prevail. But I think also we must remember that these two political parties, the ANC and the DA, are the most stable political parties that we have in the country. They have a huge track record of governance in the country as well. So I think they bring that complementary experience and knowledge into government. So this might likely to be a more stable government of national unity. We're hoping that once they finalize the final details of the agreement, that will be made public to all, or it will be a transparent process that voters would know what are the agreements about and how would this government work. And that would help in holding them accountable and saying, would this be an effective government or not? But if we don't know the finer detail, it will be difficult for us to hold them accountable.
Yeah, talk to me about the significance of Malema standing for nomination for presidency, despite knowing that the odds were possibly stacked up against him.
I think clearly what we saw yesterday is that there are two sides. There are those that are forming a government of national unity, and there are those that are very unhappy with them being excluded or how the process of forming a government of national unity has unfolded. And therefore it is symbolic, as you'd have noticed, with the first election or with the first position of the speaker, nobody would have known how it would have gone. But with the second election and then the nomination of the president, one would have seen that there is a voting bloc, there are two voting blocks, and therefore it was just academic for Mr. Malema to stand. But I think it is symbolic. It will say we have made ourselves available to serve, but the legislatures have decided to go with a particular choice. So it was more symbolic because he knew that this would be what would happen.
Yeah, Prof, one of your expertise is leadership and change management. Do you think the DA made a strategic move by supporting the ANC in exchange for the deputy speaker position?
I think it has made a strategic move. The DA knew that they're a party that is not growing. They're a party that is not growing, and they needed to maneuver to ensure that in the next elections they do grow. And one of the things I've done, they have put themselves out there as a party that is willing to rebuild this country, as a party that is willing to bring solutions on the table. I think in that way, this is a very strategic move that they have undertaken, because you will remember that their electorates under normal circumstances would question why they would form a government of national unity with the ANC, because these elections were essentially about taking the ANC out. In fact, their campaign message was saying we want to get rid of the ANC, which has been incompetent, which has not been delivering, and so forth and so forth. And then now they're in government with it.
All right. And then is there much that we know about Dr. Lotriet in terms of any significant moves that she may have made within the Democratic Alliance in her political history?
I think one of the things that we must remember with the Democratic Alliance is it appoints people because of expertise. And she is a person that has worked in governance. She is a person that has worked in legislatures. So as a result of that, they think that she has the required expertise to be able to assist in that level. I didn't think she was in the public domain for a very long time, but clearly she has been a representative of the Democratic Alliance from a local sphere of government until currently serving at national government. In that sense, she has the requisite experience, and the DA has confidence in her.
All right, Professor, so we also saw the re-election of ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa as state president. So as matters of this government of national unity stand, who do you think will be his deputy?
I do think that Mr. Mashatile will still be his deputy. I think the ANC might have said, I don't know what are the details of this agreement, but it's probably the ANC would take the executive and give some of the strategic legislative position to the Democratic Alliance and the IFP. I think that's how this government would pan out. Might be that there would also be clusters that would be given to either the other political parties that are in the national government of unity. But it certainly looks like that a portfolio like the presidency would remain with the ANC for strategic reasons, of course, from the ANC's perspective. Because if you don't have that portfolio fully residing within the political party, you would then have clashes. You would then have what we have seen elsewhere in Africa, where you would have a government of national unity or cooperative government being formed, two incumbents from different parties serving in that portfolio of a president and a deputy president, and they are always internal fights and squabbles.
All right, Professor, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, that was Professor Zwelinzima Ndevu, just reflecting on the outcomes of the first National Assembly sitting and the caliber of its elected leaders. Of course, interesting, nerve-wracking and exciting times in the South African political landscape.